to participate in this curriculum. So we wanted to give parents the opportunity to hear, see, and ask questions. Even those folks that are online, we'll be monitoring that. So if you have questions that you want to put in the chat or the comments box, we will try to get Oasis to answer those for us. I'm going to turn it over to Matt Mitchell, who is the director of the Oasis Medical Center, and Matt's going to share this information with us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Sorry, getting the PowerPoint ready. Yes, I am Matt Mitchell with Oasis Medical Center. I am the CEO of Oasis. Oasis is a pregnancy help center here in Corinth, and in addition to the pregnancy help services, we also provide STD, STI testing, and treatment. Another thing that we do is we reach out into the community with character education and abstinence curriculum that we go into the schools with. And so what I Am Enough is a character education curriculum that is abstinence-based. It is going to cover the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. Something that is important to know is that with these presentations, we do separate the boys from the girls, and the boys will have a male presenter, the girls will have a female presenter. With the character education component, that is basically that's the building blocks of I Am Enough. I Am Enough teaches that each student has value, purpose, and worth. And so that is where we're coming from. The 6th grade curriculum does not cover any of the sensitive topics. The 7th and 8th grade curriculums do. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this PowerPoint presentation. I think that you can all see this. So the question is, why do we need this I Am Enough curriculum? And as you can see, they're listed on the screen. These are issues, the bullying, sexting, porn, drug use. You can see the list there. These are the issues that the students are dealing with. Now, this is very different from when many of us were in school. They may be some of the same issues, but you might say that some of the issues are on steroids. It seems like that. What we're going to do is, let's see. What I want to do first, I want to give you some quotes. So we've already been into the schools for 2 years, and these are some actual quotes from students that we've gotten some anonymous feedback from. This is a 7th grade girl. She says, "Boys have requested nude photos." Another 7th grade girl says, "I feel left out a lot. I feel like I'm not good enough." Another says, "I don't feel like myself." I've got some other quotes that I want to tell you about. Another 7th grade girl, they say that boys have requested nude photos. Others say, "I've sent nude photos." There was an 8th grade boy that said, "I'm enough, help me stop looking at porn." One, to me, that was very disturbing. A 7th grade girl said, "Boys keep asking me to have sex. I keep saying no, but they won't leave me alone about it." That's kind of disturbing for me, thinking about that as 7th graders having those discussions. We cover other topics. There's the bullying, there's depression, there's anxiety. All of these are situations that middle school students are dealing with. This one is also disturbing. She says, "Sometimes I feel like I have the weight on my shoulders, and sometimes I get depressed, and I have had suicidal thoughts before. When I'm feeling down about myself, I try to put on a face at school and be nice to everyone, and I am, but sometimes it can be very hard. I've been called a lot of names while I've been in school, such as ugly, fat, stupid, idiot, retard, worthless, etc. I've been told that I should just kill myself, that nobody would care. I started believing them, and I felt like dying." I Am Enough teaches this basic truth. that each student has value, purpose, and worth. And that is the building block. Sixth grade curriculum is solely focused on the character education. The 7th and 8th grade presentations deal with the more sensitive topics. Let's look at, I'm going to go back and show you what is covered with 6th grade. There it is. It is character education. That's all the 6th grade is getting. The 7th grade, they are getting character education, and we do then begin discussing sexting, the dangers of sexting, pornography, and STDs. With the 8th grade presentations, we are still getting the character education, the addictive nature of sexting and pornography, the negative consequences of sexting, porn use, and premarital sex, failure rates of commonly used contraceptives, and it's important to recognize this, we promote abstinence until marriage. When our discussions about contraceptives, we simply share the failure rates of commonly used contraceptives. The reason that we promote abstinence is that there is no failure rate. With any other kind of contraceptive, there's always a failure rate. With abstinence, there's no failure rate. When we start with those basic truths that each student has value, purpose, and worth, what it does, it instills confidence into the student. They are then more confident and prepared to deal with situations that they're going to face. And they're much less likely to be manipulated into a situation that they don't really want to be in. Those are just the basics, value, purpose, and worth. That's where, that's really the heart of the program right there. We do cover those sensitive issues, but we cover them in a very, very tasteful way and a very respectful way. The question and the reason that we are doing this presentation is to give you a chance to see what the presentations are about and then let you make your decision. Of course, we believe in this, and we have gotten a lot of positive feedback from students and from teachers and from parents. The thing that I want to say is, whether you choose to allow your child to participate or not, I would encourage you to have some discussions with your kids. These discussions can be difficult, they can be awkward, but they're very necessary. And the thing is, we are glad to teach I Am Enough, but we are definitely encouraging you, whether your child participates or not, we're encouraging you as parents to have these difficult discussions and to be willing to willing to do it. Even though it's awkward, being willing to have those conversations. We can also point you towards some resources that would help do that, help you have those difficult conversations. Do we have any questions from anyone that's here? Or we might even be able to take questions from those that are watching on Facebook.
How often will you guys be in the schools?
So the question was, how often will we be in the schools? We'll be doing 4 presentations throughout the school year. And another thing I think it's important to know is that the people that the presenters are people that come to Oasis first, and people that we are already going to do background checks on before they would come and do presentations.
What resources does Oasis have available for parents that not only continue these conversations at home?
We do have some books and some some of these resources are not really through Oasis. They're things that my wife and I have already been using, and just to help introduce these discussions, whether they're about sex or even warning kids about sexting and those kind of topics that they're facing. Another thing, there's another book that's called Screen Kids, SCREEN, and that has a lot of valuable information for kids this age, and it covers some of these topics like the sexting that kids are involved in. Do we have any other questions?
Is there a place to go and view the curriculum if they just wanted to kind of read through some of it?
So if you have more questions, or if you even want to see the curriculum, please contact me, Matt Mitchell at Oasis. I'll be glad to sit down and show you the curriculum. we're not, so we purchased this curriculum and we're actually kind of under a contract. It's copyrighted information, so I'm not able to just post that where people could go and view it. But I'll be glad to sit down with anyone who has questions, specific, if you have more specific questions about the curriculum, exactly what is covered, I'll be glad to sit down and answer those questions in person. I would answer as many as I could tonight if there's questions. I mentioned the importance of parents having these discussions. And so I keep coming back to the little 7th grade girl who said, boys keep trying to talk me into having sex. I keep saying no, but they won't leave me alone. And so what really just kind of sticks in my mind is as parents, if we are reluctant or hesitant or procrastinating about having these discussions, the thing we have to know is that other little boy is not reluctant. He's having those discussions with the 7th grade girls. So to me, that just emphasizes the need for us, for Oasis to be in with character education, but also for parents to be willing to tackle those tough conversations.
What kind of results have you seen from this curriculum? Have you had any success stories?
Well, so it is kind of difficult to measure the results, but what we do get is feedback. And so some of the feedback is just coming straight from the students. They're encouraged by what they hear. One of our presenters, and we can watch a quick video, but she talks about the children. A lot of the students seem hungry to hear this, that you have value, you have purpose, you have worth. And if I relate that to that girl in the 7th grade, if she understands that, if that sinks in, then she is less vulnerable to the manipulation of that guy. Because what I am enough says is that I'm enough without your approval. And so rather than being in a place of vulnerability where that if a child or even adult, if we think that I have to do something that I don't want to do just to get your approval, that's a dangerous place to be. But if we start from this place, it's I'd say a place of strength, understand that I have value, purpose, and worth, then I'm less vulnerable to predators. I'm less vulnerable to manipulation. So that is, to me, really the most exciting part about the curriculum. And we are then using this as an opportunity to warn the students about risks and dangers of premarital sex, of STDs, and these dangers of sexting. A lot of kids don't realize when they're taking nude photos and sending these back and forth that is, in some cases, distribution of child pornography. So kids need to understand that and then hopefully make some wise decisions. We have had some students tell us that they have made lifestyle changes or they've made some different choices. We can't, of course, verify that through the results, but feedback is that some students are telling us, that they're listening and that they're making changes based on the information that they received.
One of the questions that's been asked online is, will the danger of drugs and self-harm be brought into this, or is it just sex education?
It is more than just sex education. I'm talking about that more because that's usually where there's going to be more questions about what are you teaching, what are you teaching my child. But yes, this does cover issues as like bullying and drug use and those kind of issues as well, yes. If we don't have more questions, I'll show you just a quick video. We have Dr. Matt Allred, he's the principal at Mickey. We have Elizabeth White, she is the principal at Biggersville. And also have one of my I Am Enough presenters, Lauren Porter, and so they're going to do a little in this video for us. Let's see, I may have to have some technical assistance. So at Oasis, we definitely believe in this curriculum, the I Am Enough curriculum, and we definitely appreciate Mr. Quinn and the Alcorn School Board for approving this and allowing us to come in. We believe in it, and we do hope that you will sign those permission slips and allow your children to participate. If you choose not to, that's an individual decision that is made by parents, and if you are comfortable sending your children, we are definitely excited about having them. And if you don't feel that that is right for your child, then we understand that as well, and would definitely still then encourage you to have some of those difficult discussions on your own. One thing that Ms. White pointed out was it actually opened the door to have some of these discussions. So that's another way of looking at the curriculum, is that it may actually provide an opportunity or open the door to have some of those difficult discussions with your kids.
This may be off topic, but do you guys have recommendations, resources for parents? Say filters for internet or cell phones, stuff like that, so that you can, some of this stuff, stop some of it before it even gets in.
Right. His question was, do we have like a list of resources? And we don't yet, but it is something that we're working on to try to get those resources. He's talking about things like filters for your computer and those kind, but also there's the books and other resources. So we have some plans to some future projects that will be geared toward parents, that we're going to try to help parents kind of possibly open some eyes of what kids are dealing with, and also just provide and equip them with some ways to deal with some of these situations, or to be able to have the discussions. So we don't have those resource lists yet, but that is something that we are compiling and got some plans for the future. Well, even here's something that is kind of interesting to think about, but like some kids are being bullied and they don't know they're being bullied. And that's where this, that you have value, purpose, and worth can even help a child recognize, wait a second, the way I'm being treated is not okay. And another thing that we cover with the bullying is also just recognizing that bullying is not like it was, I would just say, when we were in school, because now technology is part of the picture. So I know, I'm going to say when we were in school, or back in the day, if you will, if a kid was bullied, you were bullied at school and you went home and there was relief. You didn't have to deal with it. But now, if a child is being bullied, it basically continues 24 hours a day through Facebook, social media, whatever that looks like, and with texting and these kind of things. So it is, we are there to encourage those kids. I mean, they need to hear, the child that's being bullied needs to hear, wait a second, even though you're being treated a certain way, that has nothing to do with the fact that you have value, purpose, and worth. And so it is just great encouragement to, I think, for those who are being bullied. And then, of course, we're encouraging them to reach out, whether that be to staff or principals, teachers, to get the help that they need when they are being bullied. So that we do, that is definitely covered in this. All right. Well, again, thank you very much. And there may be more questions that come up later. And if there are, please contact me at Oasis, and I'll be glad to either talk with you on the phone or meet with you in person and answer the questions the best I can. Thank y'all very much.
So I've been a presenter for I Am Enough for 2 years. I Am Enough is a character education program where we also want to emphasize abstinence, but the big picture is getting these kids to understand that they have value, worth, and purpose in this life.
Character education is very important to teach today. Character education and social skills, these play out in students' lives at school a lot. This is where most students interact with each other. So it's very important for schools to take that opportunity to model and build those social skills and that character that those students need. And the I Am Enough program really works well to help reinforce those ideas.
My own children have actually participated in the I Am Enough program. The feedback that I've gotten in my home has been wonderful and very timely. My kids come home talking about relationships. They talk about friendships, and that's the basis for every relationship. They also bring back the science that they have learned and what these type of relationships, as they progress, what scientifically can happen within their bodies. They also bring home the belief that the only way to avoid some of those negative things is through their own choice making and by choosing to abstain from sex.
Character education is so important because if they don't know that they have value, purpose, and worth, then it really doesn't matter what they do. However, realizing that they can make decisions that will impact their life positively, it's just life-changing.